Remember when the Wizards gave Bradley Beal $50 million a year and a no-trade clause on top of that? Everybody knew that contract was horrendous right from the start. But what about contracts that seemed good when they were initially signed, but a few years down the road, we changed our minds and now perceive them as some of the worst contracts in the entire league?
You feel like you get the same joy right now? Do we use the same thing?
No.
It got to the point where their contracts actively damage their team now and are holding them back. Despite being viewed as decent deals not too long ago, what happened? In this video, we're going to take a look at 5 contracts that were once considered good, but now viewed as horrendous. Let's take a look.
Adebayo bumps right into Max Christie. Boy, he's really liking this matchup. He's underneath, but he can't finish off the rim.
Bam Adebayo. In June of 2024, Bam Adebayo signed a contract extension worth 3 years, $163 million. At the time he signed the deal, he just had an all-star season, he just made first team all-defense, and finished 3rd in DPOI voting. This extension would start in the 2026-27 season and end in 2029. In theory, paying $51 million a year to a player with his resume, it's not fantastic, but it's what the Heat needed, so they considered it pretty good. The Miami Heat made it clear that Bam would be a central piece of this franchise for years to come, and they viewed him as a guy who can fit into any lineup they throw out there. It doesn't matter if they trade away Jimmy Butler or Tyler Hero or change the roster in any way, shape, or form, Bam was the most important player in their eyes. Since then, however, Bam has mysteriously regressed in every aspect of the game. Perhaps mysteriously isn't the right word to use. His regression has been a several years-long process that involves several factors. For one, Bam's offensive game was once praised for his versatility. His knack for passing the ball, even running plays as a center, was a highly valued skill back then.
Look at Bam. Lobs for Butler.
He was loved so much that it made folks overlook the negative aspects of his offense. In particular, he cannot finish against any normal-sized center, or basically anyone bigger than him. As the NBA trends towards bigger centers, Bam, as a 6'8", 6'9" center, does not have the finesse or footwork or the flat-out skill to score over bigger players. This has been a problem that plagued him throughout his career, and it was even more pronounced in the playoffs. This means his effectiveness as a pick-and-roll center is limited, as evident by him being in just the 39th percentile when scoring as the roll man. He only scores that way less than 10% of the time as well, cause he gets stopped so easily. To make matters worse, his three-point shot, which is something he did try to work on, is not good enough for defenses to respect him. If you're an undersized center nowadays, you have to at least be a good shooter, which he isn't. So if you struggle to roll to the rim and you can't shoot, that's a horrible combination that's been a detriment to the Heat offense for years. There's also another aspect to his regression, and that is the Miami Heat emphasizing their guards and wing players much more. Bam's playmaking skills aren't utilized as much anymore, because the ball is better off in the hands of their perimeter guys. You could tell this is the first time Bam has made an effort to become a stretch 5, but it might be too late now. The truth is, while the $51 million per year seemed decent in the past, it's now a crippling anchor that severely hinders this team for years to come. Ja Morant. When Morant signed a 5-year, $193 million maximum rookie scale extension that could have potentially paid him up to $231 million, he was a household name back then. In a league dominated by international players, there was little hope that an American-born player can be the face of the NBA, but Ja Morant was that hope. The league heavily promoted him, so much so that the Memphis Grizzlies had a franchise record 18 games broadcasted on national television in the 2022-23 season. So in the summer of 2022, when he got that contract, he just won Most Improved Player, got named to his first All-Star team, and made second team All-NBA. It was a massive jump from his previous year. More importantly, this guy was something else.
Morant, a 360 spin and a finish!
Some compared him to a Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook hybrid, an explosive point guard with insane hops, and his ability to contort his body in midair captivated the whole basketball world. But then, almost immediately, he proved to the Grizzlies that he wasn't fit to be in this position. Call it a lack of maturity, a lack of caring about winning. Morant even admitted he lost his joy for basketball. Once he signed that gigantic contract, his life on and off the court has experienced a massive decline. It also doesn't help that he's been injured so often due to his reckless playstyle that he spent years in physical rehab. In addition to the numerous gun incidents and suspensions, Morant was pissed that former Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins got fired. And when Finnish head coach Thomas Isalo took over, he immediately disliked him. The two of them clashed immediately, and this led to the worst season he's ever had. And that contract is definitely looking like a massive drain on the team, or whichever team he ends up on. I still remember when DeAndre Hunter signed this extension back in 2022. It was considered one of the best steals ever. 4 years, $90 million for a young fella who made strides to become one of the NBA's premier 3-and-D players, and who can also play in any fast-paced system, where he flourishes next to a competent playmaker.
To Hunter for 3!
When you think of the best supporting players in the league, for a long time, Hunter was one of them, and so many teams wanted him. When he got traded to the Cavs, however, they realized their perception of who he was did not match what they actually saw on the court. Hunter was lifeless. His negative defensive impact combined with his complete lethargic attitude were both things the Cavs did not expect when they first got him. Fast forward to 2026, and the Cavs made a decision that they should have made a long time ago: move him to the bench. Of course, this led to a fracture between him and the organization. Similar to the reason he wanted to be traded from Atlanta in the first place. Hunter was not satisfied being a bench player, even though he was clearly not performing with the starters. The first half of the 2025-26 season saw him shoot a career worse from 3, and reportedly even the Cavs were perplexed on how he dropped off so badly. This team is among the fastest in the league, so in theory this should greatly benefit Hunter's game. Instead, it wasn't his inconsistent shooting that ultimately got him traded away. It wasn't even his on-ball defense, which wasn't terrible either, but his complete lack of awareness and laziness to the point where his teammates need to keep reminding him where to be and how to rotate. The dude's 28 years old, smack dab in the middle of his prime, yet he got benched in favor of sophomore Jalen Tyson. And eventually, the Cavs got sick of him. Hunter is one of the few players in the league whose physical stature does not match his actual skills on the court. For example, the dude's 6'7" with a 7'2" wingspan, a similar build to Kawhi Leonard, and he has the physique of an elite defensive player. He has all the athleticism and speed to defend most people, but not the intelligence to figure out a play or read the offense. Combined with his lack of playmaking skills, every team he's been on has quickly realized this dude is actually one-dimensional. Hunter's next contract will most certainly be a lot less than he thinks he'll get. Jordan Poole. Nowadays, when you realize that Jordan Poole is making $31 to $34 million a year, eating up 1/5 of his team's salary space, you laugh. That's the only thing you can do. It's preposterous, this absolute liability, and empty stats chucker is making this much, and whichever team he's on is a losing team. It wasn't always like this though. When he signed this extension, it was right after the Golden State Warriors won the championship. This was a good deal back then. Poole was arguably the team's second or third best player for their 2022 playoff run. Fans were even begging Steve Kerr to give him more playing time over Klay Thompson, who in some games completely shot his team into a loss. Somehow, outside of Steph Curry, Jordan Poole was their most reliable scorer, and they needed him. That's why they gave him the deal. But then, this happened.
Players had been verbally sparring prior to some pushing, which escalated when Green took a swing and made contact with Poole.
While the two of them moved on from this, Poole never mentally recovered. That was the same summer he signed the new contract, by the way. But it was the way that Steve Kerr or anybody else on the team refused to even defend him that made it weird. Draymond is the guy who assaulted him, yet the only thing his teammates and coach said is, "Why did this leak? Who recorded this?" Nobody even took Poole's side, which leads me to believe there's been issues in the locker room that were slowly brewing. With that new contract came a larger role that Poole had trouble adjusting to. He became more brash, his confidence higher than ever, but his shot selection even worse than his team anticipated. It culminated in a horrendous playoff run where Poole played the worst basketball of his life. The dude shot 34% from the field, and the Warriors traded him shortly after. So instead of sabotaging a team trying to contend in the playoffs, Poole ended up playing for several bottom-dwelling rebuilding teams, where he had a chance to command the tank and jack up as many shots as he wants. I mean, 30, 35 million a year, that's a lot, but these teams have no ambition to keep him for the future. Everyone knows by now that if you want to lose and get a high draft pick, you get Jordan Poole on your team. He was once asked by the media, "What is your goal? Do you have anything to prove?" To which he responded, "Nah, I know I'm nice." This was about as clear of an indicator as you can get. He stopped caring after leaving Golden State, and already felt like he accomplished everything he set out to do. I mean, can you blame him? He is a champion, after all, and now has zero pressure to perform on these bad teams. Jonathan Isaac. Now, you might be thinking, why is this guy on here? Was Jonathan Isaac's $84 million contract ever a good deal to begin with? I mean, $21 million a year for a dude who was playing 15 minutes a game? Well, here's the thing, and Magic fans will tell you the same thing. In those 15 minutes a game back in 2024, Jonathan Isaac was arguably the best defender in the entire league. For example, in that season, the Magic won 47 games, which is good but not phenomenal. However, in the minutes where Isaac was on the court, the team had an absurd +12 net rating, a similar net rating to that of Nikola Jokic. The Magic were already the second best defensive team in the league that year, but when Isaac was on the court, they were somehow another 6 points better. His impact metrics were insane, and that's why he got so much money despite his limited playing time and injury history.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a defender quite like him.
The Magic were betting on him staying healthy and contributing more and playing more minutes over the years. Except that did not happen. What the team realized was they needed better offense, more shooters, better spacing to dig their way up from the depths of offensive hell. For over a decade straight, the Magic have been a bottom 10 offensive team. And I'm not saying it's all Isaac's fault, but he doesn't provide what they need the most. The Magic, even without Isaac, are already a very good defensive team. The team is so long, so athletic, that they don't see the value in his otherworldly defense anymore, hence why his minutes drop to just 10 a game. The fact is, he can't shoot, he can barely dribble, and his offensive production is non-existent. Now, that $21 million per year they committed to him is starting to look more and more like dead weight. I'm not even sure he's fallen off, but perhaps his skills could be better utilized on a team that needs it. The Magic do not need it. Anyway, that's all folks. Those were 5 NBA players who, when they initially signed their contracts or extensions, it was deemed as, decent, good, or maybe even great. But as time went by, their teams are probably regretting it. And their value no longer matches their production. Let me know in the comment section, can you think of any other players who, might fit the theme of this video? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.